Hello my lovelies! It's time for a follow-up to our video all about alchemy and enchantment. If you haven't watched that one already, I'd recommend doing that before coming back and watching this one, as we will be going over topics discussed in that video. Today, let's dive a little further into the Ornata, the mystery of their origins, their biology, their culture, and even some notable figures from past and present. Of course, let us begin by first establishing what an Ornata is, and more specifically, how they adhere to and defy established magical convention. The Ornata are born with gold fused with and replacing parts of their skeleton, which is sometimes referred to as native gold. Typically, this native gold only occupies a single, relatively unbroken section. What's more, experimentation has proven that Ornata are born with a singular, inherent magical ability already imbued into them through this native gold. The lengthy and dangerous process of enchanting an Ornata, as one would an object, yields the result of unlocking, or as many put it, awakening this dormant ability, allowing Ornata to perform a feat of magic. They have no choice or inkling as to what this ability will be until it is awakened. Gold is, of course, normally a very soft and dense metal. However, the naturally occurring native gold within Ornata does not behave as one would expect, inexplicably operating more like bone. Golden bones experience minimal, if any, issues with growth or repair, with fractures healing in a way one would expect in any other part of the body. Experience and study has also shown that native gold, removed from an Ornata, reverts back to a normal state, and cannot reclaim its capacity to coexist in the human body. Native gold has other unusual properties, affecting the surrounding flesh. The most notable and distinctive physical characteristic of an Ornata is that a patch of skin above their native gold becomes golden pigmented. These sections can grow a little over time as one matures, but tend to plateau as the Ornata reaches adulthood. This is only a coloration, operating more like vitiligo, with affected areas as malleable as normal skin. Hair that grows from these sections may be faintly pigmented with gold too, but most frequently come out white or grey. Shallow scars on an Ornata will heal normally, but particularly deep ones will often heal in line with this same golden pigment. Though they may have a striking and often alienating appearance, an Ornata's physiology is more or less comparable to any other human. Areas affected by this gold pigment can be minorly impacted. Golden eyes might have slightly weaker vision, or hair might be patchier, but for the most part they continue to defy expectations in their relative mundanity. There are some notable exceptions, however, unique to their kind beyond their innate capacity for magic. One such affliction is a deadly, though mercifully rare condition affecting some Ornata, where the golden regions of their skeleton grow uncontrollably, ultimately proving fatal over several months. Currently, there is neither a known cause nor cure for this phenomenon, though it appears to predominantly afflict older Ornata. Each culture has its own name for this condition, but among scholars, it is formally referred to as aureal malignancy. In everyday parlance, it is simply known as gold blight. The enchantment or awakening process is also fraught. While a backstreet alchemist could simply pump volatile alchemical solutions into your veins, this is moot if you succumb to the toxic substances first. Those trained often attenuate their mixtures, through years of careful research, to be somewhat tolerable to the human body, and are usually introduced over a long session in which the patient is typically sedated. Using specialized needles inserted down to the bone, they target the native gold within the Ornata's body, a procedure akin to minor surgery. Despite its potential benefits, the process is invasive and can have lasting effects on the Ornata's health. Recovery is slow and covered with risk. Some unfortunate individuals suffer permanent ailments such as weakened immune systems or triggered conditions. So why would an Ornata take these risks? Pressure and the desire to escape their current circumstances are compelling reasons. Many are already unsafe, at risk of being hunted or harmed or worse, harvested. Many are unaware of the dangers, as propaganda often portrays the awakening process as transcendental and harmless. Another motivator, plainly put, is the pursuit of immense power. Ornata not only defy the odds by their inherent ability to wield magic, but also by the potency of their enchantments. An alchemist may spend untold years, potentially an entire lifetime, experimenting and refining their craft to create objects that mimic even a fraction of the feats Ornata perform effortlessly. This has naturally bred envy among enchanters and alchemists, who resent how easily Ornata can surpass their years of painstaking work with but a wave of their hand. It will come as no small shock that the Ornata have become the focus of intense debate, from a scientific, social, and theological perspective. While there are stories going back generations that may have glimmers of truth to them, the widespread knowledge of Ornata's existence is actually relatively recent. Reported stories and accounts may go back beforehand, but many agree that the first confirmed and recorded occurrences date back roughly 120 to 130 years ago. The numbers of Ornata have grown in frequency over time, but now appear to be reaching a plateau of some kind. The appearance and then gradual stabilization of numbers now has people concerned, as change often does. Many question that if there is indeed a divine entity behind their appearance, if they have a plan for them, and it cannot be overstated just how many divine entities the Ornata are attributed to, with most religious sects attributing the Ornata to their own customs and beliefs. Further questions remain for the alchemists, doctors, and enchanters. They question native gold's placement, picky and unreplicable nature, and its complete lack of rune work. Many have noted that native gold could be placed anywhere on the skeleton and still be effective. Yet despite this, the placement seems almost deliberate, often reflecting the manner in which their dormant ability is used, or how it manifests. Someone with marks along their arm may need to gesture in order to use their ability, or may find their hands capable of growing claws. Those with a mark on their neck may produce sound, breath, or swallow in tandem with their skill. Others almost seem to have a cultural placement, such as a third eye corresponding with a golden mark on someone's forehead. As for native gold's properties, one theory is that the gold within Ornata actually has a secondary already activated enchantment, giving it its unusual properties that allow it to exist within the human body. This would explain why native gold reverts to a normal state when removed, as gold loses its properties when removed from the enchanted object. Surely, some argue, if a divine entity can imbue willpower with but a thought, they can surely make it manifest at birth. If this is true, others wonder why their distinctive ability is not then immediately active too, causing some to suggest that the Ornata's awakening process represents some kind of holy test. The way Ornata live and are treated differs greatly from culture to culture. There are, of course, many who do not care what your bones are made of, simply treating Ornata as any other person. Ornata are, after all, people who know no creed or colour. They are friends and foes, elderly and children, mothers and brothers, swindlers, kings and commoners. Those born in the middle of nowhere to poverty or isolation frequently live their lives without their powers ever being awakened. Not all are so pragmatic in their approach towards the Ornata, however. Some venerate them as divine beings, perhaps heralds or messengers of some greater message they need simply unravel. Others see them as bad omens, or perhaps some symptom of the world's ongoing corruption, their plateauing numbers a sign of a next step of some kind. Others see them as tools. Like any skill or resource, they exist to be utilised or to be useful. If a god has sent them, then surely they are a gift to a deserving ruler. And if they are like any other citizen, then it is simply their destiny to toil in service of the ruling class. in whatever form that may take. Paragons and the Last Exodus, two sects of a wider faith known as Myriadism, are some of the most common religious practices in the world of Gold and Bone, and a perfect embodiment in the variety with which Ornata can be treated. While Paragons hold Ornata up as being touched by perfection, an embodiment of something greater than themselves, the Last Exodus shun Ornata as worldly distractions, sinful, a test of their faith and a call to focus on their holy tasks over the temptations of the mortal world. Whilst we will dive into these further another day, suffice it to say that all is not well in many parts of the spiritual order of things. The world has asked whose god sent the Ornata here, and everyone has resoundingly declared at once, ours. Enevas, also known as the United Lands under Enevas, has been able to expand its influence and power significantly by creating the Ordo Electi, the Order of the Chosen. The Ordo Electi may sound glamorous, but is in essence an army of special forces. What is significant is that it is primarily composed of awakened Ornata and Wardens, soldiers specially trained to neutralize Ornata and enchanted objects. More notably, the Ordo Electi offers to awaken Ornata over the age of 18 in exchange for 3 years of military service, though many choose to stay on afterwards. This offer extends to anyone from any country, meaning many defectors have travelled to Enevas for various reasons in order to pledge themselves. Wardens are specially selected, recommended, or must apply, be reviewed and approved, and typically already have military or combat experience. For many, the Ordo Electi is a means to drag themselves up from poverty or safety from persecution. For others, there is a societal pressure. Many see joining the Ordo Electi as a bragging right or mark of honour. It is not helped by the fact that the Ordo Electi have some of the best alchemists on exclusive retainer, meaning that even nobility, who hope to survive the enchanting process, have the best odds by using the army's exclusive alchemists. This is all by design, of course, to ensure as many powerful Ornata enter military service as possible, though of course no one would admit to that. The first widely documented and published witnessing of an Ornata's golden bones are actually those of an Ornata from the Marafti culture, who joined the early Ordo Electi, a man by the name of Semeft. Semeft defected to Enevas, staying on after his mandatory service, though sadly dying just a few years later. Unlike other cultures, Marafti either burn or skybury their dead as convenience allows, and as a mark of respect, his peers made a point of honouring his culture by creating a funeral pyre for him. Those in attendance at the funeral bore witness to the massive extent of Semeft's golden skeleton. Despite his exterior markings only extending to a small section of his left underarm, it was revealed that the entirety of his upper arm and ribs were riddled with gold. You will have seen 3 current members of the Ordo Electi in today's video, characters who you will definitely hear from again. Edie Kemlo, a new recruit and ex-farmer, marked across her upper sternum. Her developing ability allows her to neutralise energy and magical effects in a small radius. Elian de Serva, a nobleman's son 2 years into his mandatory service. With a mark from his left ear to the back of his neck, he has the ability to communicate with ghosts and other magical imprints. And finally, Anthony Warwick, the son of a guard captain who has chosen to forego awakening the markings on his upper right hip, determined instead to prove his worth in combat as a warden without magic. Keep your eyes peeled for stories involving them and many others from Gold and Bone's past and present, as well as a deeper dive into Enevas, Myriadism, and the Ordo Electi. And that is all the time we have for today. As we approach 50k subs, and wow, I can't believe I'm saying that, keep an eye out and notifications on, as I have some special announcements coming, as well as a Gold and Bone competition on the horizon. The beautiful people on screen are my patrons, who are my own beloved Order of the Chosen. They were able to see previews and works in progress for this video on the private Discord. If you like what I'm doing and you would like to join them, as well as get access to some exclusive Golden Bone short stories and your name in the credits, do consider supporting me on Patreon. It helps me out an awful lot. What are your thoughts or questions about the Ornata? What part of the world would you like to see me deep dive on next? Do you have any fun headcanons you'd like to share? Do let me know in the comments if you have the time. And speaking of time, my dear friends, I will see all of you next time.